I'm here at Pizzeria Paradiso in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. with their Executive Beverage Director, Drew McCormick. I'm Austa, and this is At the Table. Before we launch into talking about Pizzeria Paradiso, just tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me how you kind of got started, what you're passionate about.
So I've worked in restaurants since I was about 15, starting in Maine on a more seasonal rotation. Things aren't open year round up there because it's real cold in the winter and there aren't as many tourists to be had. But I love the restaurant industry. I love the people that work in it. I love the camaraderie that happens, for better or worse. And then I think I just started drinking beer and really fell in love with it. And then when I moved down here to DC, sort of opened up the world of beer for me in realizing that it doesn't just have to be hoppy beers or golden beers. There's this whole world of amazing things that can be sour or balsamic vinegary, which also lends really nicely to pairing.
Where do you feel you draw your inspiration from, your career inspiration?
I actually really enjoy interacting with customers and my staff, and sort of that satisfaction when you've given somebody a new beer that they've never had before, but they really like it. And then they take a picture of it on their phone and come back in and order it again, things like that. And then the staff getting excited about beer. And for me, sometimes I get a little bit rabbit hole-y and I start talking about the history of this particular style, and but when you say something like that to the staff and you're just talking to them at a beer class, and then a month later you overhear them talking to a table and they tell the same story. So I think it's just those little things that happen on a daily basis that sort of recharge me.
So tell me more about the concept for the game room. What do you think about the energy of the space, and how did it kind of form?
Prior to this, it had kind of been, the downstairs was the bar area and the upstairs was the restaurant, and they naturally had this separation, but you could still order all of the draft beers that were downstairs upstairs. So there was a little bit of crossover, but I think just for us, we wanted to make it a fun space, give it its own identity, even down to the beers that are available down there, and make it fun. I know I keep saying that, but
and give the adults an opportunity to be kids again.
Yeah. So when you walk in, there's a bar off to the side, usually with a friendly bartender behind it. Nice draft tower. There's a pinball machine right where you come in, which is positioned perfectly next to the bar, so you can set your beer on it while you're playing pinball. And then around the bar, actually, in this cute, dark little nook, we have 2 skee ball machines. And then the other exciting thing we have downstairs on the wall just behind where the shuffleboard is a little mural, which was done by Mike Van Hall. He's a local artist, but also does the can label art for Stillwater and Aslan.
What do you think is important about the community aspect of the food and beverage industry, and also what do you think about the food and beverage industry in DC? What do you like about it? How do you feel it's changing?
It is changing. I feel there's always something new opening up, but it's a lot of fun. I think it's a really fun place to go out to eat and drink, and you can find just about anything in the city, and it's good. I think the industry itself is pretty tightly knit, and you'll go into places and see the same people, or you all kind of know each other, and it's a friendly community of people that, at least for me, I felt genuinely want to lift each other up. Not a cutthroat, competitive restaurant industry, which perhaps it is for some people in some areas of the city, but that's not been my experience.
Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, also, what do you think about women, I guess, working in the industry, and how does it feel to be the first executive beverage director that's a female here at Pizzeria Paradiso?
It's definitely a pretty obvious thing, and a thing that's part of my everyday life.
Being a woman.
Yeah, yeah. But I also think, just as the most basic example, everyone that I have an interview with asks me that question.
Yeah.
Which it's valid and is important to talk about, but just at its most basic of like, that's a thing that everyone notices about me rather than like other things. Or if I was a man, it wouldn't be so much the story. If you get a lot of women in the room talking about what it's like to be a woman in the restaurant industry or the beer industry, there's like a lot of like knowing nods, you know, women can't be in the kitchen or this couldn't happen. I think we need to remember to sort of like bring it back and make it part of the larger community and not just a thing that we as women experience and then talk to each other about.
Like you have to educate the men too and include them in the conversation.
Yeah, and I think that some of them want to be, some of them don't, and we'll see what happens to them. But
I think we've already kind of seen what's happening.
My name is Drew, so a lot of times I email back and forth with people and set up a meeting, and they come in like expecting a man. So that's always a little like jarring for people sometimes, I think. And
Interesting.
The majority of people I interact with are men in the beer, on the beer side of things. It's just different, you can feel it. Sometimes you can feel that people are like uncomfortable, like, am I supposed to shake her hand or do I hug her or like, just shake my hand? It's like, you know, but it's, you can see like the wheels turning of like, okay, how do I like appropriately interact with this woman in beer?
Yeah. So if you wanted to be known, I guess, in the role that you currently encompass for something other than just the first woman, I mean, what would you want to be known for? You know, what do you want
the
people
beer
to ask?
would be like,
The beer would be.
I mean, I think it's important. I think women in the industry is still an important thing. And I'm like proud to have that be part of the discussion around my job. But I think just like beer, I like to do like weird, interesting events. So like ice cream beer floats, things like that. And I think for me, if every single person that came through the door, well, that was like of legal drinking age and such, had a beer that they loved and had like a wonderful experience with their beer and food, that would be amazing. If every single person that walked through the door had a positive interaction with the beer program, that'd be pretty great. Which I think is mostly the case, but to like challenge people a little bit to try something new and have them enjoy it.